Welcome back, everyone. I'm the Depressed Dealer, and this is Middara. I did forget to read the description, so I will. Strange eyes hover in the darkness. They eerily watch in silence while emanating a purple glow that shines across the damp wooden floor of the cellar. The woman on the far end of the cellar contorts inhumanly and stares in your direction. Alright, so we're going to reset the initiative. And then, after dealing initiative cards, move Melody forward one spot in the initiative track. She's already first. Though not for long, because I'm going to pop this Augur Pager and make her go last. Yeah, Pagers are awesome. Always get them. Alright, so with all that taken care of, we can now start with Zeke. Alright, so we're not going to grab items just yet. I'm going to go ahead and pop Mend. Get 2 heal tokens. Let's go ahead and pop Magic Armor on Rook. And then get, we'll spend one, yeah, we'll get Barrier on Rook. And Haste on Nightingale. Alright, and then for his movement, so we got to deal with these eyes, one way or the other. So what I'm going to do is go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So right now her line of sight includes all these eyes. So if we can take out these eyes, that would be best. So what I'm actually going to go ahead and do is actually throw some hand axes. I'm going to throw one at the one that's furthest away, up there. So I'm going to throw a hand axe first. 1 purple die. Okay, 3 damage. They have 5 HP each. So I'll throw the other one. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Alright, so that's both axes used. That is some epic levels of bullshit right there. I did 4 damage with 2 axes. Alright, well, I'm gonna go ahead and flip a utility core. I'll swap in the other one. This will give me access to both shivs. Let's go ahead and draw a card too. There we go. I might pop that blessing in a second. Alright. So, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and pop the blessing and get +1 stamina. And then use both. Use those 2 stamina to attack with the shivs. With 2 orange dice. Sorry about that. Mike was doing something weird, so I was taking care of that. Alright, that's 14. These things have a defense of 10. And this is attacking into hindering terrain there. So yeah, I'm attacking diagonally, so I'm good to go on that. So 14 down to 13, so 3 damage base. Every 2 shields gives +2 piercing, or +2 physical damage, so that's a total of 5. So that kills that eye. That eye is gone. Alright, and then I'm going to throw throw a knife at the other one. I'll roll for posterity, but I only need 1 damage. And take out the other eye. Alright, I'll take care of that. I'm going to go ahead and flip this utility core and draw 1 more item. Augur Pager, perfect. And then I'll swap out the used up shivs. I'm just going to flip them like this. Sorry about that. Had to make a break in the video again because of the mic. Alright, so yeah. I have 1 shiv that I still haven't thrown, and I have the Linean Edge now equipped, so I at least have this fancy wombo combo going. That is it for Zeke. It now goes to Rook. Rook will get nothing, because he's not hasted yet, but now he's hasted. So yeah, I'm flipping the unique core to get haste. So that's now up and running. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can't get sight there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe there. Yes, I can target it from here. Alright, so that was my move for that. Though I think I might go ahead and... The problem with Font of Renewal is it does take a stamina to cast. But I think for right now I am going to go ahead and Courage Stifle and deal with the eye. Alright, so 11. They get 2 purples for their dice, for their conviction, so we're going to go ahead and grab those. Also, we're going to need a black die in a second, so grab that. Also, technically, we're going to need 2 oranges and 2 reds as well, so let's go ahead and get those on the field. Alright, roll both dice. Okay, fails. That's going to be 10 damage to it, and I'll blow up that eye. And that is it for him, unless I want to pop a bottle and use it to put out the Font of Renewal, but I think I'm going to wait for now. Alright, next goes to Nightingale. She is hasted, so she does get 1 stamina. Hoo boy. Alright. I'm going to spend 1 stamina to move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I believe this gives me a diagonal, so that should be good. Yep, diagonal. And in range of that. Okay. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that's fine. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and do down the masses. And I'm going to shoot the eye first, because I need to. Alright, that is 14 minus 1 is 13. This thing has no armor, so it's going to do at least a minimum of 6 damage. That's going to blow up the eye. And then I get a shot on Melody, who's not in hindering terrain. So I'll take the other shot. Alright, that is a miss. Yeah, I'm just going to take that as a miss. And then I'm going to go ahead and exhaust Precise Strike and use that instead. Alright, so I'm within range, it doesn't really matter at that point. And here comes the attack roll. Alright, that is 14. This thing has 12 defense. I'm going to hit, but I'm not going to do enough to trigger the Precise Strike bonus. So, sorry, I should have said I empowered. Oh, now I missed. Okay, well, since I missed, I'm going to go ahead and exhaust this to get an additional attack. So the reason why I'm doing Empower is I want to maximize this hit as much as possible. I'm going to go ahead and use the Infection to take 1 damage to reduce the cost of an ability by 1, which will be Empower. So the extra attack will be Empowered, and let's attack. Okay. I'm going to take that 2 and use Kill the Messenger to make it into a 7. So that's 13. It's a hit. It's going to do 1 damage base against defense 12, so 1. She's unarmored, so that's another 6, so that's 7. Starburst brings it up to 8. 10. 12. And then the 5 shields will add another 6 to that, bringing it up to 18 damage. So make sure I did that right. It was 1, 7... Yeah, 1, 7, 8, 10, 12, 18. Yep, 18 damage. Alright, so first time you wound her, I have to read the hidden text. Melody screeches at her actually, sorry, I have to do the Eyes of Magdalene first. Alright, that is 8. Place 1 Eye of Magdalene. It gets placed in UM 69. Furthest away from everybody, so it'll be placed right over here. Alright. Then it goes, yeah, now I read the text. Melody screeches at her fresh wound. In a high-pitched voice, she screams, "I'll kill you!" over and over as she waves her hands through the air. With a loud crack, and the floorboards explode all around you, and two women claw out from beneath the dirt with large weapons. You realize in horror that this crazy girl is a summoner of some sort, and she's brought some friends to aid her in the fight. Spawn twin Savani adjacent to the adventurer who dealt damage to Melody. When placing these two figures, if possible, place them in a flanking position, then continue your turn as normal. So, we get to deal with Hope and Ava now. Actually, I don't need to grab their figures. I'm an idiot. Alright, I believe you're down here somewhere. Twin Savati Hope. Twin Savati Ava. Boop. Now, since their HP is based off who summons them, that's why there's no max for it. But their HP is 15, essentially, because it's half of Melody's. Alright, and then if they can be placed in a flanking position, so they're going to be placed like this. We got to add them to the initiative track. Sorry, it'll be initiative. So Ava and Hope. Alright, so now she's in this situation. These ones, so they have Elusive, Provoke 2, Nimble. They're pretty much very similar to the summons that we just got access to. A lot of their attacks will be based off of trying to get flanks to do their backstabs. Alright, so with all that in mind, I can try to get away, but there's not really an option for that. Yeah, she's kind of in trouble. There's not really any way around it. I mean, I could Bamf. I can Bamf if I need to. I can use the Bamf token I have. I think I might do that. So I can't really do diagonals like this because, remember, you have to do based off the orthogonal tiles. So really the only place I can teleport if I want to get anywhere is right there. And that'll at least protect her from the backstab. So I think I'm going to go ahead and pop the phase token. And teleport to here. And then from here, I'm just going to shoot at Ava a bajillion times. Or I can shoot the eye. Oh, I can shoot the eye from here. That's actually really good. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and pop a fight drive. I'm going for the eye. Alright, that is a hit. Bye-bye eye. I'm not going to use the other fight drive because they are nimble, so they'll dodge the first attack. So I'm probably just going to leave that alone. Okay, goes to Ava first. Is Ava flanking an opponent? No, not anymore. Can Ava move to attack an opponent within reach 2? Yes, she's right now within reach 2 of Nightingale. Move to be within reach 2 of the farthest opponent possible. If Ava can flank a target, she will attempt to flank the farthest opponent possible. So, farthest opponent possible, they have movement 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That'll actually go for Remy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, and I'll attack Remy. What I'm going to do, let's see. So the first time each turn Ava would miss an attack, reroll the attack roll. So that's something to be aware of. She has the same reroll mechanics. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to pop a Gene Tweak and dodge the attack that's coming. And then reroll it using the Perpetrator Catsuit. Alright, not much better. So she's going to attack. It is automatically empowered for her, as you can see with the dice there, and it's going to be 2 red dice. So this is going to hurt a lot when it hits me. Oh, wow, max. Okay, so that's 18. That is 18. Alright, against defense 11. So it's going to do 7 damage base. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 17, because every star is 2. So 17 damage in total. She'll take 16 because she does have 1 armor. Alright, well that was nearly half her health. Alright, then she's going to attack again. Then make an attack within reach 2. This attack this attack gains follow-up. If Ava has made at least 2 attacks this turn, make an attack within reach 2. Alright, so second attack. I'll just spend a stamina to dodge. Okay, so +3 this time. Alright, misses, then it gets re-rolled. Still misses. She's made at least 2 attacks this turn. So she gets to make a third attack, and it's going to have +6 physical damage on top of it. What I'm going to do for that is I'm going to go ahead and use the nano robes that we just got to make that attack automatically miss. And since she's already used her reroll, that won't do anything extra. Okay, that's Ava taken care of. Nearly killed Remy before she even got a turn. Hope is next. So, Hope is there an opponent within reach 2? Yes. Yeah. So, make an attack within reach 2. This attack gains star. Okay, so it automatically gets a star if it hits. Alright, it's going to go after Rook. Rook is going to go ahead and pop too many belts to dodge. Okay, 4 plus 2 is 11, so that's 15. This attack has no empower die. 16 is a hit, unfortunately. So 16 is going to do no damage, I think. Because he has, what, 15 defense right now? So 15, base damage 1. Every shield does +1, so 3 damage in total. No empower die for that attack. So it does 0 damage because of armor. But the star, the first time each turn, Hope rolls a star during an attack, casts a spell 6. Okay, yeah. And then cast spell 6 against up to 2 different opponents within SOI. Alright, so SOI would be any of these 3 targets. It's going to target Zeke and Rook because they're furthest up on the initiative. It doesn't say anything about targeting anything specific. Okay, so she's going to go ahead and cast that. It's going to be a casting die. It will be empowered. And it's a teal dice. Yep, teal dice. So I'll need to borrow teal dice because they can't auto-generate. Alright, rolling that. And then I'm going to roll Conviction for Rook and Zeke. That is not the best roll. And for Zeke, he gets 2 whites as well. Alright, 11. I am going to go ahead and re-roll using the Enchanted Piercings, and I'm going to re-roll the 2. Well, that's not much better. Alright, 6, 2 shields, brings it up to 8, so it's 14 in total, so it hits both of them, no matter what. Hope deals a magic damage equal to the result of the roll made with her casting die, so it's going to do 6. Actually, oops, sorry, wrong card. Magic damage equal to the result of a roll made with her casting die. Let me check something. I don't think you include the empower in this one. So it's just going to be 6 magic damage to both of them. Alright. Ouch. And... ouch. And then if Hope is not already flanking a target, she will move to be within reach 2 of the farthest opponent possible. If Hope can flank a target, she will attempt to flank the farthest opponent available. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She cannot flank. So what she's going to do is go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And go here to go for that, I think. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, she's the furthest. So she's going to go right there. Alright, and then that is it for them. It goes to Remy's turn. This is still the first turn, by the way. This is just a brutal fight. Alright. So, question about this. Alright, so that's blocked. I don't know. No patient. Is there an opponent adjacent? Is there an opponent within line of sight? And this ability has been used. Okay, so she doesn't actually use SOI. She uses pure line of sight. But there are no eyes on the field, so she actually has no line of sight. Yeah, actually, she has no line of sight at the moment, which is kind of crazy. But first, we actually needed. Well, actually, we need to do Remy's turn. Sorry, I was trying to figure out what exactly I was going to do with Melody there. So these guys, these twins do have Provoke 2 active at all times. So if I do move right now, I will provoke. So what I can do is I'm going to go ahead and summon. Run some Femke and Dem, or DM, onto the field. I've already got their own stamina and HP prepared. Like so. So if I want to, I could try to go and hit Melody with the twins, but they're not going to do that much damage, and then it's just going to add more eyes to the field. So I'm probably going to use these people to try to deal with their summons as best as I can. Alright. And we'll borrow these dice. Alright. So we can put DM here. And we can put Femke here. Ooh, actually, I can do this. That's a flank. And it still keeps everyone out of sight. That's awesome. Perfect. Okay. Let's go ahead and get started. So, adding the summons, I still have her actions to do. So, I'm going to go ahead and throw my... I'm going to do my familiar throw. It's going to target Ava, because she's more dangerous, to be honest. Alright, 5 damage to Ava. And, yeah, they only have resistance to magic. Also, if we take out one of the twins, they lose the backstab and resistance to magic. Alright, then I think that's going to be it for her for now. Yeah, I'm not going to move, because that's going to provoke. Oh, actually, what I can do is I can use all these summon tokens I just got. So we have 4 summon tokens. And what we're going to do is I'm going to attack with Femke on Ava. Alright, so I'll use 1 token to attack. It's going to be automatically empowered. Ava will dodge with Nimble. Alright, skull on that. Only got a 10, which misses, unfortunately. These things have the same defense, so 12. We do get +1 because of flank, but that's still not enough. But when the first time each turn Femke would miss an attack roll, reroll the attack roll. So we'll actually get to reroll the attack roll. Okay, so 14, 15 because flank. So 15, so that's going to be 3 damage base, plus 3 from backstab, brings it to 6. And then every shield is +1. So 7, 8, 9, 10. It'll do 10 damage to Ava. And that's enough to finish her off. She only has 15 HP. That's the weakness for the twins. They're actually really, really fragile if you let them get focused attacked. So that actually worked out rather well. That still leaves us with a bunch of summoning tokens to play around with. Does she have line of sight? She does. Alright, I'm going to keep attacking with... Actually, I'm going to attack with DM next, using a summon token. It will be empowered because of the talisman. And, of course, Ava will dodge. This one will not be flanking. Okay, misses. And I definitely missed. I only got an 8. The first time each turn, you have to re-roll it, so I'll re-roll it. And it misses. Okay, but the dodge was burned, so that's all that really matters there. Next, I will go ahead and have... I'm actually going to go ahead and have DM continue attacking, just simply because I don't want to attack through the hindering terrain. So I'll pop another summon token. This is called blowing your load, by the way. Alright, so 17 against defense 12, so it's going to do 5 damage. 6 damage, 7 damage, 8 damage. So 8 damage in total so far. I could do Ruination for free with Resonance, or I can have those Starbursts do 2 physical damage each. So 17 goes to 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 14. So 14 damage in total. Putting her at that. And then I'll go ahead and use the last summon token to attack one more time. And unfortunately, she missed. And she's already used her reroll. Alright, and then it goes into DM's turn. And DM's going to go ahead and spend... she's going to go ahead and exhaust False Idol to get a free attack. Targeting Hope. Alright, 13. That's going to be a hit, so that's enough to kill, deal with Hope. And I'll remove them from the field. These are Espers, so you don't actually draw loot for Espers as far as I know. And I'll actually remove them from the field. That was actually really, really good. Alright. And then after that, let's see. Yeah, I guess next all I can really do is jump or move. So 1, 2, 3, 4, we'll jump. Okay, that was enough. 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So that cost her the rest of her stamina to get there. I'm going to go ahead and do Blood Toll to get 2 stamina back and take 2 damage. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'll go ahead and attack her. She's going to, of course, Nimble Dodge. Alright, you rolled 4 shields, so you have, with Nimble, right now you have 17 defense. I do get to reroll the attack because it is a new turn, and I missed. Alright, takes care of that. Next goes to Femke. Femke is going to move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then she's going to go ahead and pop False Idol to attack once. The Nimble Dodge has already been done. I will get -1 for the attack because of DM being in the way. Also remember, both these characters have reach too. Okay, attack missed. I'll re-roll. Alright, attack missed. And then she's going to go ahead and spend 2 stamina to attack with Spear of Vel. And miss. Okay. And that is it for her. It's going to go to Melody. So first turn for Melody. You feel a strange sinking feeling in your gut as ethereal strings tug at your very soul. Stitch it to someone else, and stitch it to someone else's. gain the tether token. This token cannot be normally removed at the end of this encounter or when the adventurer with the token is defeated. Remove the tether token. At any time Melody is dealt damage, you are dealt that much irreducible damage. At any time Melody heals, you heal the same amount. So this is one of the reasons you want to get hits in on her before she does this. Needless to say, I've once done... she got an action and I did like, I think, 24 damage to her somehow at some point, and it pretty much made it, and the tether was on Zeke, and so he exploded. So I have to pick a random adventurer. The way I do it is I just have everyone roll 2 purple dice, and whoever gets highest gets it. And it clearly says adventurers, so it does not count the espers. Zeke got a 14, so he is tethered. And if Zeke gets healed, by the way, Melody gets healed. So there's not really any way to stop it. Short of like actually getting killed. Anyway, that takes care of that. Now we go through our turn. Is there an opponent adjacent? Make a separate attack against each opponent within reach 2, then swap places. Alright, so DM is going to go ahead and use Nimble Dodge. And then you get to roll 2 red dice. Boop. Alright. 8 is a miss. And then she's going to swap places with the furthest opponent. Farthest opponent within line of sight. That's where the eyes get really dangerous, because then she can just warp everywhere. But since there's no eyes on the field, the only person she can see is DM. And so they just swap places like that. Alright. Next, it goes to continue down. Is there an opponent within line of sight? And this ability has not been used this encounter. Summon Exalted Esper Min as the contractor, gets the opponent with the highest total armor value within line of sight. It's actually a tie for 0 with all 3 of these characters. So it's going to go to Nightingale because she is the furthest up the initiative. So it's going to do Menace the Contractor. An opponent with an SOI is dealt magic damage equal to the number rolled on both conviction dice, then get condemned. So we'll go ahead and add condemned, which is every status phase she has to roll a black die. If she gets skulled, she dies. Alright, and she takes 8 magic damage. So she's up to 9 damage. And now that's been used, we'll just put a used token to show that's been used. There we go. And that is it for a turn. I will say this is probably the smoothest I've ever had this fight go. Alright, it's a new round. Okay. Goes to Zeke. And what Zeke's going to go ahead and do... He can't heal himself because he'll heal Melody as a result. So what he's going to go ahead and do is he gets his 3 stamina. He's going to go ahead and... He's going to pop both heal tokens and heal Remy for 12. She needs it. And then as a, I'm sorry you just got wrecked, we'll put haste and barrier on her. Alright. And then he's going to go ahead and move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then he's going to go ahead and throw his shiv. Orange dice. Alright, 3 damage. That is now used. He's going to take 3 damage as a result because of tether. And then we roll 2 dice to see how many eyes spawn. Alright, just 1. And it's going to be spawned as far away from people as possible. Which would probably be technically here, I think. Alright. And then that is it for that. Goes to Femke. So Femke gets unexhausted and gets 3 stamina. She's going to go ahead and spend 1 stamina to move, which is going to provoke an attack from Melody. She's going to nimble dodge it. Alright, 10 is going to miss no matter what. I'm not going to counter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She's going to go ahead and exhaust False Idol to attack the eye. Alright, 12 minus 1 is 11. It's going to do 1 damage. Actually, 2 damage to the eye. Then I will go ahead and spend 2 stamina to attack again. Actually, sorry, I'll spend 1 stamina to do Quick Blow, which will just be a follow-up attack. Alright, that is 10, which is a miss. I'll hold the reroll. That is a 10, which is a miss. And that is it. Well, that sucks. Alright. Goes to Remy. Remy will get maxed out on her stamina. She's going to go ahead and spend 2 to fly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll go 7 here. That'll cost another stamina. Then she'll spend another stamina to will that actually work? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, there's not much I can do about it. So yeah, I'll go ahead and use Shady Training just to step down to this way. So I spent 2 to fly, plus 1 to get the extra distance, 1 to get to do the diagonal move. And unfortunately, I don't really have any good options for... the only way I can attack this thing is with throwing knives, so I'm just going to use a throwing knife. Alright, 6 damage, that's enough to blow it up. So we're burning through some items, but it is a boss fight. I don't want this fight to go any longer than it needs to. Alright, so now she's vulnerable again. Goes to DM. I'm going to... get the stamina. And... oh, sorry, that's DM. That's Fimke. DM's over here. She's actually going to go ahead and just stay in place. Actually, she'll move to here. That's it. Because next is Nightingale, and I want her to get the attacks off. Nightingale has a clear shot. Oh, actually, she needs to roll Condemned. Okay, no skull, so she doesn't die immediately. She's hasted, so she gets 4 stamina. Alright, so I'm going to just make a regular attack first. Melody will dodge, which doesn't matter because it's going to miss. Alright, so it misses. And then next I'm going to go ahead and use Precise Strike, and then empower it. And miss because of skull. I'll go ahead and use Aligning Machine and empower it. Okay, so I'm going to re-roll the 4 and see if I get better. I didn't, so that's a miss. I'm going to use Infection to take initial damage to reduce the cost for an empower, and then use the Fight Drive to get an attack. Oh my god, I can't hit anything. Alright, at any time I re-roll a die rolled from it by a figure with an SOI, I'm going to use a ticket to re-roll the skull. Thank you. Definitely need to do a bounty to restock again. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and use Kill the Messenger to change that 2 to an 8. It was a 2 originally, by the way. Just making sure. 8. So 15, 16 against 12 defense, so it's going to do 4 damage base, 5, 6 because of the Starburst, plus 2 because of the Bear of Justice. Actually, I forgot to put Wilt on her, but I'm not going to worry about it because this is going to do more than enough damage. Yeah, so I'm at 6 right now. Or sorry, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 because it did damage her since her last turn. And then if I want to, I can literally be like 10, 12, 18, which that's going to way overkill her. So, really, like I said, it's a very fast and brutal fight. It can definitely go very long if you let the eyes get out of control and let the twins actually beat the crap out of you. In most of my fights, I usually ignore the twins and just try to finish off Melody as quickly as possible. And the twins just shred me because of the backstabs and the freaking overpower, or whatever it's called, that does +6 physical damage. In any case, that is Melody defeated. And when she's defeated, also the 21 damage or whatever I just did is going to make Zeke explode, by the way. That's okay. We don't need to worry about it. But when Melody is defeated, gain the Ablations Expiation Living Monster gain the Ablations Expiation Living Ablation Monster Loot. That is a mouthful. So we gained that. Now, from what I've read, I had to, because I made this mistake in the past, unless it says otherwise, you still draw loot. So even though I got that monster loot, it didn't say instead of drawing a loot card. So I believe you're supposed to roll for it. Now for espers, I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to roll for espers. Alright, so we're just going to draw 1 loot. 9 gold. Alright. Really the main thing is getting the Ablation monster loot. It is armor. It's cloth armor, so it gives +1 movement. It actually gives +1 defense, which is actually really unique about armor. Armor usually doesn't give defense. You can exhaust and dodge, and if you successfully dodge, you counter. And the passive, of course, gives you +1 shield, as long as you don't roll a skull. The bad part is it doesn't give any armor, and it gives no health. So it's purely like a defense item. For the most part, I treat this as an item that I always trade in to get an upgrade. So that's what I treat it as. So I'll go ahead and put that with her stuff. And then as for the thing, each party member gains 1 experience, and then restore our adventurers. And then we do continue to set her free. So we'll get our +1 experience. Boop, boop, boop. So Zeke just needs 1 more, and he can get some cool stuff. So just making sure I did the math right. 3, 8, 15. Yep, 16 experience total. Alright. And the twins didn't do too bad. They did miss a bunch towards the end, but they shredded the other twins. So I have no complaints about their performance. And definitely this is part of the reason why you want to get as high experience as possible, so you can make sure they stay alive. Because all it takes is a few hits to take 1 down, and once one of them goes down, the rest of it does far less damage. Well, they lose, essentially, the magic resist stuff. Anyway, so that's all been taken care of. Let's go ahead and, I'm just cleaning the board right now. Clearing everything off. So I can clear everything off. There we go. You're all piled together, but that's okay. Do that. Do that. So Zeke explodes, but then he gets fully restored, so he's good to go. I'll worry about the items later for the most part. I'm just getting the rest of the things I want to actually trash. Alright, I think that's everything. Okay, so I'll clear the board. Alright, and then restore that. Okay, so set her free 93. The woman collapsed from the weight of her wounds, blood pooling about her. Her summons were gone, leaving her sounding desperate and surprised. Human flesh is so feeble, she muttered. The girl held out one arm in front of her. She was almost surgical in the way she inspected her many wounds. She shook as she pushed her scraps of clothing against a deep gash in her belly, but it did little to stop the bleeding. Rook held her arm out, blocking Nightingale's path to the fallen woman. She isn't what she appears. That thing isn't human. There's nothing we can do for her. Nightingale glared at him, though she didn't try to force her way past. Rook, we can't just let her bleed to death. Rook didn't budge. Nightingale, do you know what this thing is? She shook her head, frowning. No. Just past him, the imitation of a woman laughed and cackled. Listen to the big one. He sounds like he knows. Use what time you have left for wisdom. She didn't even sound angry, only resigned. Rook ignored her. I wasn't sure at first, but I'm certain now. They call creatures like her living oblations. You make one deal too many, and eventually the only thing you have left to bargain with is yourself. Something crawls up inside your head and takes your body for itself. Whoever this was, she may have been dead for years, decades even. Is that true? Remy asked from his other side. Melody. The monster sounded suddenly afraid, gasping from the pain obvious in the damage to her body. Her skin went white, her hands started shaking. Before I sold myself, my name was Melody. See? Nightingale surged forward, moving to duck under Rook's arm. He was too fast, ducking down to block her with one meaty arm. She's not gone. She's not gone. You're still you, aren't you, Melody? The woman's head tilted violently to one side, swiveling to look up at Nightingale. Her mouth opened too wide, and she laughed. Of course I am. Who else would I be? We can't know. Rook stepped out of the way, though he glared even more intently. The creature inside her can make her body do whatever it wants. Even if this person was Melody, and we'd known them before, we couldn't be sure. Zeke tapped impatiently on the stone floor with his weapon, getting the oblation's attention. Did you kill the informant upstairs? No, she hissed. Malik ordered me to protect the basement. He doesn't like snoopers. Her tone changed, suddenly pained and desperate and human again. Well, a shocking imitation of human. Please leave me be. I'll heal. If Malik doesn't learn I failed, I'll be saved. Just go. Rook felt the brief pressure on his soul, the faint magic Suri used to look through his eyes, then the momentary weakness as she borrowed some of his strength to manifest. Suri approached the fallen woman without fear, then turned her back to meet Rook's eyes. You must kill this creature. Quiet. This doesn't concern you, Melody hissed, suddenly angry. She lurched toward Suri, but only made it a few inches before her horrific wounds forced her to stop. Suri's voice turned pleading. It has no business in this realm. It's dangerous. It's a dangerous intruder from Arkala. Only if you kill the host can the great bounty pass judgment on this criminal. Any other action will allow it to stay hidden. Nightingale looked confused. Suri, what exactly is the great bounty? Suri swished in the air in frustration. Stupid fool. We don't toss our valuable names to be trampled and misused. Nightingale stepped back, frightened by the sudden energy. She nodded faintly, looking down bashfully. They are the self-appointed enforcers of dimensional boundaries, Suri continued. Where realms are close and compatible, they allow travel. When they are not, as with Middara and Akarla, their judgments are harsh. Kill her, and we will be rewarded. No, Zeke said. You're not going to have to explain more than that. That sounds like some comic book shit. Rook was more sympathetic. If any of you paid attention in assemblage, you would know she's telling the truth. Espers hail from realms outside of Middara. Many are allowed to be summoned, bound, or used in any way the contract with their summoner permits. Certain realms are considered off limits, and Arkala is one of the worst. It's probably the reason the Maluma doesn't manifest more often. I'd guess this creature is the same. Staying inside of another body allows it to hide from the Great Bounty. If we kill its host, it will be vulnerable. The Great Bounty will be alerted to its meddling in this world. Remy glared down at the ablation in obvious confusion. Isn't Suri from Akarla too? Melody laughed, but it turned into a coughing fit. It took her several seconds to finally recover, blood trailing down her lips. Yes, just afraid that if you let me go, she'll be discovered next. Delicious hypocrisy. The creature smiled wickedly as Suri before saying the name. Suri is just as guilty. Suri snarled, exposing a pair of sharp teeth. Her eyes flashed with her fury. I am not the same. I use a relic to peer across the boundary. You steal bodies and souls of humans and work them until they crumble. Rook, we have to kill her. Decision. The adventurers must decide what to do with Melody. You can either kill her, or you can let her go. I don't know what happens when you kill her, but I mean, we already have like at least 2 espers with us at this point. We have Suri and the Maluma, so we're not really in a position to judge. So let her live. She might be useful. Continue to. It's not our decision to make. No. Nightingale walked past Rook, stopping inches away from Suri. She wasn't afraid, not of the fallen Melody lying in the pool of blood, and not of Rook's Esper. This great bounty thing might be powerful, but we don't give a damn what their rules are. Nightingale pulled a roll of bandages out of her pack and tossing it down to Melody. Melody caught the bandages, staring down in disbelief. A second later, she hurried to work, binding her wounds as best as she could, staunching the blood with tight wraps. We won't kill a defenseless enemy, Nightingale said. Violet light flickered where Surrey's lower body blurred into an indistinct blur. Do you feel the same? Rook? His voice shook the room. I do. Then I'll do it. Her violet light grew brighter, and a sudden breeze blasted away from her. This is why the bounty was formed in the first place. Humans are often too weak to protect themselves. You don't understand the erosion of our dimensional boundaries. Zeke cleared his throat. No, you won't. We decided not to kill her. You got outvoted. Surrey's light flickered, her whole body growing suddenly transparent. There was pain in her eyes as she looked up at Rook, along with frustration. She spun in the air with impossible speed, glowering down at Melody. You best keep your silent, intruder. Hurry hovered just a few inches away from Melody. I know enough to damn you. Surrey flickered once, then vanished like a candle out of the wind. The Esper gave good advice. Again the voice came, as it had on the streets of Ramstead. At least Nightingale didn't feel anything tugging at her body this time. A living oblation could mean our deaths, and the death of your friends. If it reveals our presence, the bounty will not care you were taken against your will. It will scour you for the sin of bad luck. Melody jerked sideways, suddenly looking directly at Nightingale. The writer lies to you, girl. My words would bring your death, but what of me? The great bounty could take no words from me without also strangling their canary. She laughed, and again the sound grated on Nightingale's ears. A trifecta of impossible lawbreakers we have here. Each host to each intruder as vulnerable to judgment as the others. Swords at each other's throats. No one can swing without damning themselves. Remy nodded knowingly. It's very practical. She can't turn you in without getting herself killed too. Melody lurched to her feet, swaying unsteadily. Not even Malak will hear me sing again, she said. My debt is paid. The Black Hand can find a new bird. Get out of here. Or should I get out of her way? Nightingale called. Rook, Zeke, and Remy all stepped back, giving Melody a clear path to the ladder. Thank you. Melody met Nightingale's eyes one last time, and again her voice sounded familiar. Look deeper. Malak only ever wanted me to guard what was worth guarding. She gestured into the gloom, at the faint outline of an open passage against the stone. By the time Nightingale looked back, she was already gone. You think we should? Zeke asked, cleaning his weapon along the side of a rolled bundle of cloth. Might be a trap. Nightingale sighed. We don't really have a choice. If we don't, I might end up like her. New visitor, page 97. They didn't have far to walk. After 50 feet down the dark tunnel, they reached the end. Beyond was another stone room, though this one had a lower ceiling and far less open space. Nightingale scanned the shelves and almost couldn't believe what she saw. The room didn't hold more coins or precious stones or art. Instead, each cubby and shelf cut into the stone had a single number carved into it. On each shelf rested something completely unique. Nightingale looked between them with wonder on her face. Staring at the array of strange objects, she saw a sword made of multicolored metal, each layer glowing a different color. There was a length of rope coiled upon itself, hissing quietly like a living snake. Besides those was a big bag of marbles, which grew scorching hot one minute before encrusting the nook in ice the next. My God! Rook stopped in the doorway, scanning the room. He fumbled in a pocket, drawing out the black ledger. Yeah, that's what I thought. He turned it to face them. See the numbers on the wall? They match the ones in here. Damn impressive haul, Zeke muttered, nudging the bag of marbles with a cigarette. He gradually crushed it over with ice, snuffing the end out. He pulled his hand back before something worse could happen to him. Remy sighed. Damn, guys. I'm sorry. I think I dragged you into something awful. Nightingale touched Remy's back gently. Relax. It's not your fault. You didn't know this was down here. Remy nodded weakly. She looked as though she were going to start throwing things onto the floor. I thought maybe it was just information. It can't be, though. This has got to be stolen. My dad's a smuggler. Probably a thief, too. She lowered her voice barely above a whisper. He put that creature here and told her to kill anyone who put his operation at risk. Nightingale reached out to comfort her again, but Remy pulled away. She spun and shoved past Rook towards the open door. No more putting up with this shit. Let's go get some real answers. Remy, wait. Zeke pleaded. If he didn't tell you before, finding this place isn't going to change anything. Remy spun on her heels, glaring. If he was lying about this, what else didn't he tell me? Forget the smuggling. We still need to save Nightingale. I'm not going to stand around and do nothing while Nightingale ends up like Melody. If the Black Hand is involved, my dad and Grace aren't even making this official. And that's a picture of Aisling. It could take them months to find the killer. We're running out of leads. Or sorry, that was Remy. It could take them months to find the killer. We're running out of leads. It might be the last one. Nightingale looked to Rook for help, but found him engrossed in the ledger. She could still see Melody's eyes in her mind, wide and desperate with panic. Would she look like that one day? I can help you find the murderer. Malama's voice was almost becoming familiar, but she still made her shiver with disgust. Really? She thought back, more exhausted than angry at this point. The room, the shelves full of artifacts, even her friends started to blur into the background. As they did, something else became clear in the air in front of her. The Malama looked much as she remembered it from her nightmares, a cloud of sentient tar interspersed with flickering lights and organs. When it spoke, it never used the same mouth for more than a few words. All those eyes watched her, not seeming to see or care about anything else. I keep my bargains, human. Give me control for an hour. I'll take you straight to the murderer. You can retrieve whatever leads were stolen and continue your search for Theodosian. You swear? She whispered. If I do this, I'll get my body back? Of course. Its voice grated in a discordant choir of a dozen overlapping voices. You can have your body returned as soon as the deal is done. Nightingale. Rook was suddenly right in her face, so loud her concentration faltered. The horrific shape vanished from in front of her, and the room slammed back into focus. She blinked, dazed. What? You were muttering to yourself. She shivered. We found something. Rook held up the ledger, pointing at one column. She read the word beside his finger. Hegemonics? What's that? Zeke grinned. Probably what the murderer was after. Rook says everything else in here got logged in and out, all methodical, except this. He stepped back, gesturing at a large empty cubby, whatever this was. What kind of artifact is it? Remy asked. What did a thief want so badly that he blew someone up for it? Rook didn't get a chance to answer. From down the passage came a distant crash, followed by the sound of shattering glass. He tucked the ledger away into a pocket, then drew a weapon. Together they crept back the way they came. Nobody spoke as they crept back the way they came. Nightingale was no exception, peering up through the wooden floorboards. Someone moved above them, someone she recognized. It was Aisling, the red-headed woman that had been screaming at Patrick in the middle of the night. She dashed through the house, pouring something onto the wood as she went. She didn't stay long, spinning around every few seconds as she dumped the large contents of several jugs. She tossed them down near the window, shattering what was left onto the kitchen floor, then vanished out a window. What is she doing? Nightingale whispered. Not sure, Zeke said, smelling the air. Smells like sulfur. Zeke's eyes went wide. Oh shit. Something bright orange exploded from up above them, accompanied by a sudden wave of heat. Zeke hurried to the ladder. She just lit the place up. He climbed rapidly, shoving onto the hatch. It didn't budge. Rook, you want to help with this? We need to get out of here. Smoke began billowing around above them, and the sound of the fire filled the room as more of the accelerant went up in flames. She probably doesn't even know we're down here, Nightingale yelled. We gotta get out of here. Okay, calm down. Rook took Zeke's place at the top of the ladder, bracing his shoulder against the hatch. Something snapped and the trapdoor flipped open. A bright orange light shone in around him from the opening. Pretty warm up here. Looks like the kitchen is still clear, but the flames are getting close. Time to move. Nightingale was the last up the ladder, and the smoke was thick in the air as she made it to the kitchen. She coughed and squinted as black clouds stung at her eyes. The fire already blocked the front and back door. We're trapped. Rook spun desperately. Over the counter in the kitchen, Nightingale could see a window. She jumped onto the counter, pointing to her friends. This way! Nightingale, be careful! Rook called from behind, but Nightingale wasn't going to wait for him. She could feel the heat on her skin, and her lungs burned with each breath. Nightingale threw herself against the glass window. The wood splintered under her weight and the glass shattered. Nightingale fell out the window onto the grass on the side of the house. She helped her friends out one at a time, covering her mouth as best as she could. They didn't make it more than a few steps before they dropped to the ground, breathing heavily. Zeke was the first to get the sit up. Guys, I know we're all in bad shape, but Grace probably has guards on the way. I don't want to get blamed for this. Me neither, Nightingale coughed, scrambling to her feet. She helped Zeke up and turned to leave. The group set off down a nearby alley into the gloom. I think we've got our next lead, Rook said. Yeah, Nightingale agreed. To Patrick's. I liked something to drink, then some answers. Back to Patrick's, page 99. Alright, give me a moment. Alright. Sorry, I was drinking some water. Rook was the first through the old-fashioned bar doors, shoving them aside with such force that they snapped back against the wall. He ignored the stares, ignored the confusion of the patrons. His friends kept pace with ease, while none actually marched with drawn weapons. They all had them within reach. If Patrick was in league with one who had just tried to murder them, they wouldn't let him get away. Rook found the inn's proprietor exactly where he'd been the day before, tinkering with a disassembled flintlock pistol. Oh, hey. He looked up, eyes flicking from Rook to the others just behind him. You guys go to a bonfire or something? You smell awful. He leaned forward, pointing at a little door next to the stairs. We got hot water in the showers, you know. No need to stink up the whole place. Funny you should mention it. Remy hopped up onto the stool beside Rook, right in front of the disassembled pistol. She casually swept her hand across the table, sending the tools and delicate clockwork clattering to the floor behind the counter. Hey! Patrick raised his hands defensively. You got something stuck up your ass, Moriarty? She doesn't. Nightingale didn't sit, but she did poke up near the bar just beside Remy. Her arms and shoulders were covered in small cuts from the glass window, and Nightingale's hair was pulled to one side. She kept her voice low, barely above a whisper. A friend of yours just tried to barbecue us. She was a little peeved. To his credit, Patrick didn't try to run, though one of his hands did briefly twitch. I don't know what you could be talking about. Remy leaned across the bar towards Patrick, her wings wide behind her. My father's information broker exploded today, while we were investigating his house. Your friend broke in with lantern oil, Rook finished for her. He kept his voice as low as the others, his eyes flicking up to the mirror to make sure there wasn't anyone sneaking up on them. Aisling lit the place up with us still inside. Either you cooperate, or I'll see if my cousin Grace has to say about it. Zeke leaned casually against the bar as he spoke, exhaling a mouthful of smoke towards Patrick. Patrick's shoulders slumped. I can't believe she actually did it. He slipped a flask out from his belt and tossed the whole thing back. He didn't set it down again until it was empty. Look, I don't want to talk about this here. He pointed towards the kitchen, and back, where we won't be heard. He led them away from the sound of drinking and song, away from the clinking glasses and happy voices. They followed Patrick through the kitchen, then through a doorway tucked against the back wall. Rook's eyes went wide as he took in the whole place. It looked like an entire blacksmith shop had been squeezed less than 10 square feet. High windows were open all along one wall, letting in a steady stream of cool night air. It was barely enough to stop him from sweating, what with the unshielded coals of a burning forge. There was an anvil, too, and a wheel, and a sturdy workbench littered with tools. Half-forged weapons hung from hooks all around the ceiling, low enough that Rook almost put his eye out on an unfinished dagger. The others were all short enough that they weren't in any danger, though Zeke eyed the weapons warily. Look, Patrick faced them again, hopping onto his workbench. I'll answer your questions, just don't get the authorities. It would probably do more harm than good. We'll decide after you explain. Nightingale folded her arms, glowering up at him. Was Aisling the one who murdered the informant? Patrick sighed. I tried to talk her out of it. The Black Hand might be criminals, but they don't deserve what she's planning on doing to them. Was that what you were arguing about this morning? Nightingale pressed. No, I didn't think she actually was going to go through with it. I backed out. I thought that would be the end of it. Patrick lowered his voice to a horrified whisper. The guy exploded, huh? Sounds like she actually got her hands on the damn thing. Rook leaned closer to him, his tone artificially casual. She found the hegemonics, you mean, an artifact of spontaneous combustion? Patrick jerked, and there was no hiding the recognition in his eyes. You know about... He shook his head. It's much worse than that. The hegemonics can attract exalted espers. Which are... Remy asked, annoyed. Pretend we don't know. Demigods. Demons. Worse. Stuff nobody should be messing with. I bet Aisling used the hegemonics when she was caught trying to steal it. Your informant probably never even felt a thing. Rook started to pace back and forth, biting his tongue as he thought. You and Aisling were going to work together to steal this artifact. Why? Patrick didn't answer for a long time. He glanced over to Remy, and the words came slowly. Aisling lost her dad, the Black Hand. Aren't murderers, Remy shouted at him. Spies, maybe smugglers, but not assassins. My father wouldn't do that. Patrick paled. You don't know your father well, do you? You know what he's been doing in Middara for the last 5 decades? Remy opened her mouth to argue, then shut it again, defeated. Malik had only been her father for 3 years now. She hadn't even known he existed before coming to Middara. But he loved her. You couldn't fake that. Patrick seemed satisfied. Look, the details aren't important right now. The point is, Aisling's dad was killed. She blames the Black Hand and Malik. As for me, well... He looked down away from Remy and Zeke. I want to say that it's because I'm sick of corruption, sick of the back alley deals and troublemakers vanishing in the night. Really, I just care about her. I don't want to see her throw her life away over revenge. So why did you steal the hegemonics? Rook repeated, a little more insistent. I heard about it from a patron. You can probably guess. Someone drinks a little too much and they stop thinking about who might hear them. I was hoping that if we stole the hegemonics, we could bring it to Balthazar. The king would realize how dangerous the Black Hand had become and finally send a proper investigation. So you were trying to get my dad thrown in prison? Remy hissed. It isn't just your father, Remy, Patrick said. The Black Hand are a disease spreading deeper and deeper into the lineage aristocracy. They pay so well that nobody wants to be the one to stick their neck out and fight back. Every year they control more, and every year our laws matter a little less. Someone has to do something. Nightingale rested a hand on Remy's shoulder, stopping her from whatever violence she'd been thinking. But you changed your mind. Why? Because I realized Aisling couldn't just be happy with justice. She wanted revenge. She wanted to kill Malik. I want the Black Hand stopped. I don't want its members dead in the street. Patrick rose again, eyes scanning between them. I couldn't stop Aisling, and frankly, I didn't think she'd go forward with it. That means I've got to help you bring her in. Get that artifact before the hegemonics gets used again. Really? Nightingale raised an eyebrow. You'll help us find her? Yeah, Patrick repeated, nodding back towards the kitchen. But not tonight. Aisling isn't going to come easy. Get clean, get fed, get rested. We can find her in the morning. Rook stared, searching for deception in Patrick's eyes. After a few moments, he nodded, seeming satisfied. All right. But in the morning, you give us everything we need to find her. I want your word. He offered one hand expectant. Patrick didn't hesitate, taking Rook's hand with a sturdy grip. On my life, my inn, and my secret stout recipe. Then he looked towards Nightingale. You have glass in your hair. Nightingale ran a nervous hand through her hair, sending small bits of glass all over the countertop. This is bullshit, Remy scoffed. I'm not going to help you put my dad in prison. Remy turned on her heels and stormed out. Rook and Zeke shared a worried look, but Nightingale was faster. I'll talk to her. Thanks for the free food and beer, Patrick. Nightingale found her friend a few moments later. She had already found an empty table with a pint of ale. At the rate she was drinking, she'd need another one soon. Hey. Nightingale pulled a chair over with a nearby table. Pulled a chair over from a nearby table, spinning it around and sitting backwards across it. He's the only family I have left, Remy whispered. All of you have brothers, sisters, uncles, aunts, or both parents. Malik is the only family I have. Nightingale only nodded solemnly, not willing to interrupt. I know he's not a good person, but he's good to me. Nightingale still didn't say anything. I mean, plenty of people hate Balthazar. He's not a good person. Nightingale raised a finger as the barmaid passed their table, catching the offered glass. A month ago, she probably would have felt pressure to defend her family's honor. But now she wasn't so sure about Balthazar anymore. I'm sorry, Remy sighed. This isn't about your dad. I just can't believe he's a murderer. I won't. Remy shook her head. I'll help Patrick capture Aisling, but I'm not going to help him throw my dad in prison. There was a long, painful silence. Nobody expects you to, Nightingale finally said. I don't know if Patrick's right. Aisling is the one we're investigating here, not Alec. And if we do find anything about him, you don't have to be part of it. I wouldn't want to hurt my family either. Remy reached across the table, taking her hand and squeezing. Silent tears streamed down her face as her hand shook. A few more seconds passed, and finally she wiped her eyes on the back of her sleeve. Thanks, Knight. I know we're not supposed to be friends, but I'm glad we are. She grinned back. Me too. Now finish that ale. The next morning found them feeling much better, clean, rested, and full. They practically glowed as they made their way downstairs. There were no patrons waiting for them, just plates of hot cakes and Patrick himself. The man no longer looked like just an innkeeper. He had a belt of gear, along with enough weapons to compete with any of them. I hope you're ready to give us that information, Rook said when he finished his plates and all his friends' leftovers too. We're in a hurry. I'll do you one better. Patrick rose, sliding a pistol away into his holster. I'm coming with you. No offense, but you all don't really have a chance in hell of catching Aisling without me. That, and he nodded respectfully to Nightingale. Shayless would kill me if I let anything happen to you. Wait, what? Nightingale glared at him, bolting upright herself. You never said you knew my sister. Patrick shrugged. No? Well, we went to the Institute of Valenia together. We've been friends, since we got here. Nightingale skipped over towards an impressive display case of weapons marked for sale. So, since you're friends with my sister and since you're coming with us, does that mean this mean we shop for free? No, ma'am, Patrick said, laughing. But you're free to buy as much as you like. I probably need the gold more than you do. Continue the story round, Ramstead Recreation. Alright. So, the item I didn't purchase is gone forever, as far as I know from the rules. And then we shuffle the common unique deck and take the top. Awesome. So, new shop means new item. We now have the magical leather dress, which is +1 armor, +8 health. You can exhaust it when making a dodge, casting a spell, or making a conviction check. You may reroll any of your dice. And then the passive is reduce physical damage dealt to you from melee attacks by 2. Which I actually forgot to do for the Perpetrator Catsuit. In fact, I've probably been forgetting to do for... No, I'm pretty sure I remember on other cases. But yeah, she actually should have taken 2 less from the that massive attack earlier. Alright. So this is actually a neat item to get, because it gives you the ability to reroll spell checks, dodge checks, and conviction checks, which is all really good to get out of the way. The only problem is I kind of already have leather armor, and I don't really need to upgrade necessarily. If you can get this early, it's great, but like I said, I've already upgraded, and the only person that's not upgraded right now is Zeke, and I'd rather him have a cuirass, so I might actually pass on this item, which is too bad because it looks cool. Besides that, the only thing I'm going to go ahead and do right now, is I'm going to go ahead and turn in the Ablation and Expiation and unlock a new upgrade. And we're going to get the Universal Upgrade Ethereum. Okay. So now we've unlocked Ethereum. So Ethereum is very, very straightforward. It can go on any item, and every one that you add to your gear list, essentially, it gives you +1 movement. So that is pretty cool. Let me see if I can... I think there's really only one thing I'm going to purchase, so I'm just going to take care of that now. I know the video is going a bit long, but that was a lot of story to go through. Alright, it is 30 gold to do a to upgrade a common item. So I'm going to spend 30 gold to get Ethereum Upgrade. It's a universal one, so it can go on anything. Well, anything that can usually be upgraded. And I'm going to put it on this Hasten Core. So now this Hasten Core provides 3 movement. And this also makes Rook 9 movement. I mean, there's a few other upgrades that are tempting. Otherworldly's pretty good. Bulky increases armor. There we go. But 9 movement rook. I think 9 movement rook with 6 SOI, which I haven't even taken advantage of the 6 SOI yet. Definitely have no complaints about that. There's definitely some gear stuff I need to do, but I won't do that until we actually start the next story round. We do have some side quests. We have a curious game, Patrick Shotgun, and we can reattempt the bounty. I'm going to probably do curious game first before I do anything else. But everything else, I think, and then I'll probably do the bounty after that. Actually, no, I'll probably do curious game, do Patrick Shotgun, then do the bounty as the last thing. Because if I do Patrick Shotgun first, as long as I succeed at it, I'll be able to get Zeke his 5 experience to get his next discipline. So I think that's going to be the game plan. And since we've already done the bounty before, or attempted the bounty before, hopefully I'll go a little bit faster without the need to explain everything. So until then, I am the Depressed Eeyore, and this was Middara. See you guys next time.